channel. For those of you who don't know me, or if you've never been here before, welcome. My name's Rachel. I'm the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Happy Tuesday. I hope you had a great weekend. Mine was pretty exhausting, honestly. My husband and I worked really hard on Saturday and got a bunch of cleanup done out in the nursery. We managed to fill our truck up twice with a dump run, and so that was pretty tiresome. And then Sunday, my friend and I moved all of our stuff out of our booth over in Coeur d'Alene to a new spot in the Spokane Valley at True Love Home and Vintage. We have a bigger space there, which we're really excited about, but we had to build everything from the ground up. So that was basically my whole Sunday, which means there won't be a junk run to show you on Friday, but I'll figure something else out to put in there. And then yesterday I spent quite a bit of time working out on my farm, cleaning up pine needles and leaves and getting all sorts of dead flowers from last season pulled out of the ground and hauled off. So that was kind of tiresome too. Anyway, today I'm a little bit tired. But it is Tuesday, and I have a thrift flip for you for today. I got 5 items finished for today's video. I was really hoping to get 6 done, but we worked so long out in the nursery on Saturday that I didn't quite get to the 6th one. So 5 will have to do for this week, but I hope you like them. I think they all turned out pretty cute. And remember, if you do like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. And if you like this kind of content and you want to see more of what I've got going on here in my kitchen at the cottage, aka my studio, please remember to subscribe to my channel and then hit the little notification bell, and that way you don't miss anything. Currently I'm sticking to Tuesdays and Fridays for my videos. Tuesdays normally some sort of a flip or a trash to treasure or DIY. And then Fridays normally my junk run, unless I don't have one, in which case I will figure out something else to show you for Friday. Anyway, I think we should probably get on to showing you the 5 projects that I got done for today, and I really hope you like them. And if you have a favorite, please remember to give me a comment below and let me know which one of the projects your favorite one was. Anyway, here they are. My first project is a pretty simple little makeover on this bunny that I'd picked up a couple of hauls ago. He was cute, but I wanted it a darker color, so I went over it with 2 good even coats of DIY's Old School, and once that was nice and dry, I decided to go over it with DIY's white wax. So I'm simply taking my wax brush, loading up some white wax, and going over the entire little rabbit, just kind of pouncing that wax on, and then I took a shop towel and wiped off the excess. I wasn't happy with a couple of the places where it just kind of wiped down clear to the paint, and I wanted it to look a little bit more blended. So all I did was take a little bit more white wax and just kind of brushed lightly over the rabbit, and then it was done. For project 2, I had picked this little galvanized wall pocket up pretty recently, and even though I like it the way it is, I decided to give it just a little bit more personality by using a transfer out of Redesign by Prima's set called Morning Farmhouse. So I took this long strip and put that on the front of this little wall pocket. And if you haven't used a transfer before, it's pretty simple. You just peel off the back, place the transfer where you want it, being careful to make sure that you have it exactly where you want it before you lay it down. And then you use the transfer stick to rub the transfer down onto your piece as you peel the piece of vellum that it was on back. So this turned out really cute, and it was a pretty easy transformation. Once that was done, I decided to go ahead and paint the handle, and I'm using Cake Batter by DIY, one of my favorite yellow colors. So I'm just giving this 2 good even coats of the paint, and once that's dry, I went in with a shop towel, a damp shop towel, and just did a little bit of distressing. And once that was done, I sealed the piece on the front and the handle with DIY's Big Top. And then this piece was done. For project 3, I've had this cute little wood footstool sitting around in my kitchen for a while, and I decided it was time to get it a new look. So I'm starting off by giving it a bath because it's pretty filthy with some Crud Cutter followed by some clean water. Once that's dry completely, I began to paint, and I'm using DIY's Aviary for this project, and mainly because I decided I was going to put decoupage paper on the top, and Aviary would be a great complementary color for it. I did clean off the top a little bit, try and get any excess Aviary off. Gave it a good sanding, basically just to smooth out the paint. I did want to distress it a little, but just not too much, just around the edges. And then once that was done, I cleaned it up with a damp shop towel. Then it was on to painting the top, and I just gave it 2 good even coats of DIY's White Swan so that my paper would stand out really well against that nice white clean background. Then it was time to lay down my paper, and I just had this piece that happened to be almost the perfect size across. So I just laid it down where I wanted it. I figured out where I was going to start. I put a coating of the DIY's liquid patina on that first slat, laid my paper down, rubbed it across so that it was nice and flat with no wrinkles, and then followed that with a coat of liquid patina. And I did that on each slat, just one at a time, working my way forward. Once the liquid patina was completely dry, I was ready to go in and use some sanding paper to sand off all the excess paper around the edges. So I'm just kind of using some 120 grit sandpaper with a downward motion going around the edges of the piece and then in between all the slats to sand off any of the excess. Once that was done, it was time to seal this piece. And for that, I just used 1 good even coat of DIY's Big Top, and then it was done. For project 4, I decided to finally tackle this little globe I'd purchased a while back. My intention when I got it was to sell it as is, but when I got it home to the shop and peeled the tape off of the globe, it accidentally peeled some of the paper off of the base, and so I had to come up with a new plan. So I decided to paint the base and the piece that holds the globe, and I'm using DIY's cake batter. I did have to go over this with 3 good even coats of paint. I'm thinking because it was kind of a slick finish to this, is why it took so many coats of paint. Once that was finally done and dry, I went in with some 220 grit sandpaper, cleaned up the edges, smoothed out all the flat surfaces, and just gave it a good distressing. I really wanted to bring some of the character out in the little spindles and around the rim of the top. And I went back in with my damp shop towel to do some wet distressing as well. I also had to clean up the little piece that holds the globe and get that all taken care of as well. Then I set those pieces aside and it was time to move on to the globe. Now you can see in the picture here, I had already painted this with 2 good even coats of White Swan to get it ready for the next step. And what I'm doing is I am using 2 napkins that I had purchased quite a while ago. I've had these in my stash for a long time, but I decided these would be perfect for the globe to decoupage. So I'm taking each of the napkins, peeling off 2 of the sheets. They're a 3-ply napkin, and then with the cover sheet that has the flowers on it, I'm just tearing that into little pieces. Then I can get started with decoupaging. So I'm just using DIY's liquid patina, putting a little bit of liquid patina down, and then putting a little piece of the napkin down, and then going over each piece as I place it down with another coat of liquid patina. I just worked my way all the way around the globe until it got to a point where it was so sticky that I had to put it down because I was pulling up the paper with my fingers. And so I just set it in the lid there to dry for a little bit. And then I went back in with some more liquid patina and finished off the holes and just made sure the entire piece was covered with the napkins. I tried to make sure that there weren't any straight lines from the napkins. So here I am just tearing some small pieces to cover some. The last step was going in with my DIY Big Top and sealing this entire piece with one good even coat of Big Top. Once that was done and the piece was dry, it was time to put it back together just by putting that globe back on the little pins that hold it in place and placing the little holder back into the base. And then this piece is finished. For my 5th and final project, I decided to give this little stool a makeover. I liked it the way it was, but I really wanted to have it look a little bit more spring. And so I decided to go in with one good even coat of Apothecary. Now, the coverage wasn't perfect, but I was okay with that. I really wanted this to be distressed back some to that pretty gray color underneath. And underneath that, it looked like there was white and then the wood. So I went over this with some 220 grit sandpaper, followed up by a damp shop towel to really bring some of that gray back through the Apothecary. And I think it's just a really pretty look, and it makes this piece look like it's been around for a while. For the top of this stool, I decided to use a piece of the transfer set called Cozy Evening that I'd had sitting around for a while. Now this one it stuck to itself, so part of the leaves on one side had been peeled off. What I decided to do was shorten up the other side to match and then take the leaves that I cut off to fill in the gap on the other side. So here I am just peeling that transfer back off of its backing, laying it where I want it, and then using that transfer stick to very carefully push that transfer down into the paint and peel that piece of vellum as I go. And just remember, if you accidentally pull up the vellum and there's some of the transfer stuck to it, just lay that back down, use your transfer stick to reapply the transfer until it sticks. Once that was done, I burnished it with the piece of vellum and then went over it with my hand to make sure everything was smooth and in place. And then I went and used those few leaves that I'd pulled off the other side to fill in a little gap. And then the transfer part of this was done. Then it's on to sealing the paint. Of course, DIY paint is porous and can be reactivated with water, so you always want to make sure that it's sealed. For this, I'm using DIY's white wax. I just wanted a really springy, light finish to this, and I think this was the perfect choice for that. So I'm just brushing on one good even coat of wax, using my shop towel to wipe back the excess, and then this piece is done. it from here for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. And please remember that the DIY products that I used in today's video can all be found on my website at www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com, and you can order them there. And of course, they're also here in my shop, so you can pick them up here as well. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me and my small business. I appreciate it. And I hope you'll stay tuned for Friday. I'm really not sure yet what exactly I am going to be doing for Friday's video at this point, but I promise you I will figure out something. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you Friday. Bye.